Today I leave on a 2,000 kilometer motorcycle road trip from right here, Toronto, Canada. I'm taking this bike with me, BMW G650GS, going all the way to Quebec City and back. Going to be seeing some cool stuff along the way, including Transformers, the world's biggest apple, possibly going for a boat cruise of the Thousand Islands, and some other cool stuff. You stay tuned and find out. It should be beautiful, but it's also calling for the chance of rain, so keep your fingers crossed for me, all right?
The question isn't, did I forget anything? The question is, what did I forget? And the answer is, oof, we'll find out soon enough.
Now I gotta admit, I was really anxious about this trip before leaving, but the second all the bags were strapped down to the bike and I hit the starter and I was ready to go, all of that just went away and all I wanted to do was get on the road. In my last video, I talked about how I hadn't gone on a motorcycle trip for over a decade because life, career, responsibilities, starting my own business all sort of got in the way of that. But now I'm finally in this place where I can afford to leave it behind for a week or two and just take some time for me. So I'm so stoked at this point, getting on the highway. Even though it's trafficy, I couldn't be any more excited than I am right now. This next part is going to be controversial to the people who are from here, but I chose to take Highway 401 to leave a city. It is a major highway, and I mean that. It's so major that part of Highway 401 that passes through Toronto is actually the busiest highway in all of North America. And just like a couple kilometers, like a mile north of my house, the highway is 15, 16, 17 lanes. It will go up to 18 lanes further on down the highway. It sees an average of 500,000 vehicles per day. It's not size-wise the biggest, it used to be. Number of vehicles, the biggest highway at over 500,000 vehicles per day. I figure the way I'm justifying this is leaving the city, there is no scenic route. So if I'm gonna be on Ugly Road anyway, I may as well be on Ugly Road that's gonna get me far away from here quicker. So that's the route I'm taking. After just over an hour, I get to my first little stretch break. It's Port Hope's En Route. Port Hope, I like it. It's got a good ring to it. I stopped here on my last motorcycle trip when I took a 250cc cruiser to Montreal, a bike that was way too small and I had no business doing that kind of trip, but I did it. It's a good time to check on bike, bags, and rider to make sure everything's in good shape and to take care of some business.
En routes are basically different little rest stops, stretch stops, gas stations, whatever, restaurants along the side of the main highways. Oh my god, getting off this bike with all of this stuff on it is... oof. Oh, I'm stuck. That was not very graceful. Well, time for a bathroom break.
So after taking care of business in Port Hope, it was time to jump back on the bike, jump back on the 401. Speaking of bags, my next video is probably going to be in about a week from now, and it's going to be covering my bag setup and the other aftermarket accessories I have set up this BMW G650GS with, specifically for this trip. If you're interested in that sort of thing, hit subscribe to see that.
Just found someone's cigarette butt all over my seat, so I guess someone was checking out the bike while I wasn't here, and thanks, bud. It's great.
This time I would only be on the highway for about 14 kilometers.
Here's our first stop, Primitive Designs. Wow, that is a dinosaur. Parking in the back. Get a look at this place. Where am I? No parking under the dinosaurs, okay.
And that was really my first real stop. The incomparable Primitive Designs of Port Hope, Ontario is a place that I have been dying to go to for a long time, a place that I am really needing to go back to, but not until I have my truck and a lot of money to burn, because there is some seriously cool stuff here. Check this out.
Oh, alright. I love the warning about the sharp teeth, that's great. Oh, I got a shipwreck here. You know what? This one is for cracking. So if you're wondering where all your spark plugs go, don't worry if this dragon is a little bit too big for you, because we got this one right here too. Oh, keep in mind these prices are Canadian, so that's probably around $500 American. I think this iguana is telling me it's time for lunch. So a big ass slab of wood, $1,900.
I have a feeling anybody who watched that video saw at least like one thing that you would want to have from Primitive Designs. Leave me a comment and let me know down below what you would grab if you could. For me, I think I would get the giant Kraken for Eric, my buddy Eric, Kraken's Garage and Adventures. I took this picture just for him, so if I could get anything in there for free, I would get that thing, and I would find a way to ship it to him somehow. So 23 minutes later, and only a grand total of 146 kilometers away from home, I am making another stop at the world's biggest apple. That's right, it's not New York City. The world's biggest apple is right here in Colborne, Ontario. Check this out. The Big Apple is an orchard as well as roadside venue. It's got tons of baked goods, sweets, mini golf, little train rides for your kids, and other family-friendly stuff that personally I couldn't care less about. I'm not into that. I am just here so I can say that I took a bite of the world's biggest apple. I did. I chomped on it. It tasted like red paint. Don't recommend it, but I can say forever that I did that. So there you go. And at this point, one of my GoPro batteries just kind of explodes inside my GoPro. And I'm only telling you this because I promised you guys I would always keep it real with you. I have been a major advocate of GoPro products for the last 4 years. I think their stuff is amazing. First time I've ever had any of their stuff fail or give me issues.
It's weird because I have two knockoff GoPro batteries, and I have the actual authentic GoPro battery, and it was the authentic one that broke. Very weird to me. The slogan here is a little bit country and a lot of fun. Alright then. And you know what? Garth Brooks was playing, so I mean, you don't get a little bit more country than Garth Brooks playing, so it's all good. Back on the 401 we go.
I really can't worry too long about this battery because I have bigger problems on my mind. Namely, I really wanted to do this Thousand Islands boat tour. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful, absolutely stupendous. Good news for people on both sides of the border, whether you're from the US or Canada, you can actually check this out because they're kind of right in the middle. Some of the rides you do need to bring a passport for because you're kind of going a little bit international waters kind of thing. So just look in advance, try and find it out, but it should be totally gorgeous. At this point, I just know I don't have the time for that. So essentially the situation is I found a family in Brockville that was willing to take me, a complete stranger from the internet, in for the night. Not only that, but they also offered me a free home-cooked meal. And I knew I wasn't going to be having a free home-cooked meal or any kind of home-cooked meal for the next little while. So that was an offer that was just too sweet for me to pass up. It also came up a problem though, because now I have a set deadline and I've been taking my sweet time, just, you know, having my little snack breaks and whatever, and I need to seriously get there, because when you tell somebody that you're going to be there for dinner and they're giving you a free meal, you better make sure you're there for dinner, right? So, yeah. No time to worry about the battery, long story short. At this point, I make one more stop at the Trenton On Route for just basically gas for the bike and a snack for me. Obviously, it's not the healthiest snack. I just want to get some caffeine in me because I know there's a potential of rain coming, and I just want to buckle down and just hammer out these next 170 kilometers. I already did about 175, so I'm really at the halfway point of my riding for the day, and it's been nothing but breaks. It's time to haul ass. You don't want to show up late, but you also don't want to show up non-caffeinated and grumpy. So a little caffeine break because I haven't had anything today for caffeine, and feed the addiction, be in a good mood, and go and meet some new friends. Cheers. One cool thing though is that for the first 175 kilometers of my trip, I only burned about 7 liters in gas. That basically it breaks down to 4 liters per 100 kilometers or 58 US miles per gallon, which I'm really stoked about doing on this bike. My pickup truck gets like 4 or 5 times worse gas mileage than this, so I'm super stoked for the fact that I'm on this motorcycle. But I'm also aware of this threat of rain coming over the next few days, so yeah. And maybe I should tell you guys how I have a place to stay for free lined up for tonight. It's pretty cool. There's this website called Bunk a Biker, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You can list your spaces available for motorcyclists who are just passing through town to have a free stay on your property. You can set whether you just want to let them pitch a tent in your backyard, whether you have a trailer in your backyard they can camp in, whether you are actually going to let them into your house. I looked out, I found 2 very nice people in Melissa and Mike who were willing to let me stay in a little bedroom in their house, dry, warm bed, comfortable, can't complain whatsoever. And I got a free meal out of it. I was absolutely winning finding these guys. They were so sweet. If you guys are watching this, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's basically a map, and there's different pins, and you drop a pin and say, hey, you can crash with me here, or whatever it is you need, whatever. Some people also say that they have tools, they have motorcycle lifts, whatever like it is. Long story short, if you're passing through town, hit me up.
Alright, so I am in Brockville, Ontario, which is about 350 kilometers east of Toronto, where I started, 4 minutes away. They were insistent on making me dinner, so you say no once, you say no twice, and the third time you gotta say yes. That's the rule.
So here's a fun fact for you. Brockville was actually established by Americans, American loyalists after the American Revolutionary War. Their side lost. They wanted to keep the King of England. It didn't work out so well for them. So they crossed the river from the US into what was still British North America, aka Canada, and they established this town called Brockville. It is one of the oldest established settlements in Ontario, and all of this because of Americans.
Yeah, they came here and established Brockville after, I believe, General Brock. Looks super cute though.
And my evening just wrapped up with their family and talking bikes and having dinner. Melissa barbecued up some chicken and what else she makes? Potatoes and stuff. It was good. It was a really good time. And overall, I did 352 kilometers today, so that's pretty good. I will do a video on the mods that were done for this bike. Hit subscribe if you want to see that. It'll explain how everything was set up specifically for this trip and why I took certain approaches. Because this is not the most conventional touring motorcycle, especially for two-up riding. We'll get into that in tomorrow's episode, I think. You'll see what I mean. Between traffic moving well, everything going smoothly, primitive designs being so friggin' cool, the fact that I managed to avoid the rain, which according to the forecast is not going to be the case for the rest of this trip. Today, I absolutely rate it 5 stars, 5 out of 5 ride, no complaints. Tomorrow, I have a feeling it's going to be all the complaints and not a very nice ride. Hit subscribe if you want to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was day 1 of my 2,000 kilometer road trip. We will be going back to normal motorcycle stuff that I usually do, but we're doing something different, all right? Ride safe. Peace.